Welcome to the Front Street Animal Shelter, located in the heart of downtown Sacramento, California. Every year, over 11,000 animals come through these doors. Dedicated staff and volunteers work hard to provide quality care to these animals. Each and every one has a unique story to tell, and there's always so much to learn. We'd like to explore and share some of the real-life experiences of both the animals and the humans that can be found here in A Shelter Life. Hi, I'm Don Hinkle, and welcome to Shelter Life. Tonight we're doing an episode all about the fantastic foster program we have at Front Street. Our guests tonight are Lori Rhodes and Samantha Bergen, our foster coordinators. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So, what is the foster program at Front Street? I mean, we hear a lot about it, but give us a little bit of details what it's about.
It's an opportunity for our animals to get out of the shelter environment and into a home where they can better get away from the stress of the shelter, and if there's any kind of medical problems, it gives them a chance to heal.
So do you find that's really beneficial to the animals, obviously?
Oh yes, a home environment is always better than a shelter environment for an animal. Mm-hmm.
So Sam, you pretty much do the cats. Is it the same thing for the cats?
Absolutely. We have everything from babies that need bottle raising to cats that have had surgery, such as recently we had a cat that had a fractured leg, went to UC Davis, got it fixed. So now he's in foster care recuperating, so we can have that quiet time, and then once he's ready to go, he'll go up for adoption.
Great. So we were talking about the phenomenal stats and the amount of animals, cats specifically, that were in foster. So Lori, how many dogs were in foster last year?
About 705.
That is a lot of dogs.
Yes.
And of that, the adoption rate's pretty good for both cats and dogs, right? Do we have any type of a firm stat on those?
Yeah, we have about 135 cats that were adopted out of foster.
That's great.
And for dogs, it was 176.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think, I mean, we talked about that a little bit earlier about how getting them away from the shelter environment really does make a difference. So in an ideal world, wouldn't it be great if every dog or cat had a foster?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's an ideal world, but I mean, that would be a phenomenal way to actually get them there. And you said earlier that the offsite adoptions really do help that, because there's a lot more information known about the animal, and their foster parents can actually talk to the prospective new parents, right?
Yes.
Right. Not only that, a lot of people hesitate about coming to a shelter, and this gives them a different avenue to see a shelter animal without having to go to a shelter and see all the dogs that are waiting to be adopted. It tends to be a little overwhelming for people.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I mean, because there's so many dogs at the shelter that don't get to go to foster, and that's the only place you're going to see them.
Right.
But I mean, the foster program is phenomenal. I just wish there was a way we could get all the dogs to get that extra TLC as well.
Yeah, us too.
I know, it'd be great, wouldn't it? So how do you actually find out what dogs maybe are available for foster? I mean, is there a criteria that you guys look for? Is there a checklist? Or how do you guys decide who to put up for a foster versus basically general adoption at the shelter?
Well, for dogs, it's based mostly on if there's a medical need. If we get a lot of broken pelvises, legs, things, dogs get hit by a car. If they're really scared, the little dogs have a really hard time at the shelter, so they're hiding under their water dishes and they're shaken. So a home environment is the best bet for that dog to get out.
Okay. So some of you might be hearing a little bit of panting going on in the background right now, and actually we have a special guest, and we actually have one of our foster dogs. Caitlin, can you bring him on? And this is one of our great fosters. This is Clinton. And Clinton is a pretty special foster. He's a little bit hyper and excited right now. But Lori, can you tell us a little bit about Clinton and his history and maybe why he was really needed a foster program?
Well, Clinton came to us when he was about 5 weeks old. He was what's called a swimmer puppy. So his arms kind of spread out like they kind of do now, like so.
Oh.
So we put him in foster care because he needed special attention and special therapy that he wouldn't have been able to get at the shelter. So we sent him into foster. He is now 10 months. Ordinarily, dogs don't stay here that long, but because he's such a special boy, and he's got a lot of special needs, he's been to UC Davis. He's actually been diagnosed with dwarfism. So that was a first for us.
So that, I was going to say, dogs can be dwarfs?
Apparently so, We didn't know that either until he was diagnosed with it, so.
So for a foster parent for somebody like Clinton, what are their responsibilities? Because obviously, first off, he's adorable. He's a sweetheart. But what are their responsibilities? I mean, how would you screen somebody to be a foster for somebody like Clinton, who's obviously not your typical dog?
It really isn't a screening process. Anyone who's willing to take in an animal into their home is welcome to do so.
Okay.
All they really need is the love and the attention that you would get in a home environment. Him, however, he's a special case, and he actually needs someone who will take him to physical therapy and take him to the special doctors at UC Davis.
So, since I don't know Clinton's history too much, what type of physical therapy does he do?
Right now he's doing hydrotherapy, so they're putting him in the water and having him walk in the water like they do with the racehorses. So,
Clinton, you're going to hydrotherapy, are you? Such a cutie. So that's kind of probably an exception for
Yes.
foster, right?
Yes.
But I like the fact that you kind of touched on a little bit of something, and that's obviously about the medical needs of an animal. Caitlin, can you come get Clinton real quick? Thanks for being a good buddy, Clinton. We appreciate that. Yes. So, I know that a lot of people think, you know, oh, I'd like to babysit, or I'd like to pet sit, and whether it's cats or whether it's dogs or puppies, obviously there's a commitment factor there. So, like Clinton has some medical needs. How do the fosters play in that? I mean, are they required to pay for the medical care? Are they required to pay for the medicine? I mean, how does that actually play out when somebody actually becomes a foster with the actual dogs, or cats for that matter?
we take care of all the medical needs for that animal, cat or dog.
Wow.
We take care of the food, we take care of if they need potty pads, we supply a crate if available. Bottle babies get, the formula or the bottles. We will supply everything. The only thing that the foster needs to provide is a home and the love and the attention that that animal will need to be successful.
Wow. So that's pretty impressive that Front Street actually provides all the medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the food.
Mm-hmm.
And does that come from some of the fundraising events that we do?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Without those, we wouldn't be as successful.
So is the foster program a direct result of basically the Friends of Front Street? Or does the city have a role in this foster program as well? I mean, it sounds to me like we want to do the foster program and it's great, but the Friends of Front Street, which is our fundraising campaign, really is one of the main reasons we can do this. Is that
Yes.
true?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Great.
absolutely.
And do you feel this actually contributes to the high adoption rate overall as well?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they can give us the supplies that we need that maybe the shelter couldn't pay for because we're a city-run shelter. So.
Do the other shelters in the area do this?
The foster program, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Pretty common throughout?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to talk about it a whole lot tonight, but I know that one of the things that you guys have done, and it's the Pause for Flight, when we actually send a lot of the smaller dogs up to shelters in Washington or Oregon that actually have a need for smaller animals. I mean, that's something we're going to talk about in a future episode, hopefully, because I think it's pretty damn cool. But I'll regress a little bit. So, kittens. Let's talk about kittens.
Kittens.
Samantha's favorite thing.
Yes.
And as it's getting closer to spring, we know that is technically kitten season,
It is.
right?
It is.
And we actually do have a couple of kittens here.
We do.
And I think Jamie's going to bring them on.
Yes.
So we can see a couple of the cute kittens for a little bit.
There they are.
Thanks, Jamie.
Hey guys, what you doing? 1, 2. Okay.
Wow.
Yep, these are tiny kittens.
So how old are these guys?
This one's about 2 months old, and this one's about 6 weeks old.
So obviously in the springtime, kittens are abounding, right?
Yes, they're everywhere.
And I would imagine that the foster program for kittens and cats is an overload in the spring.
It is. It is.
Give me an example of about how many kittens go into foster during that time of year.
Well, last year we had 1,410 kittens in foster care. That's
1,410?
That's correct. So most of those were kittens. Some of them might have been adults, so maybe mom with a litter of babies. But
Okay.
for the most part, those are all kittens that needed a place to go to get big enough to go up for adoption.
Wow. So how do you manage that? I mean, for somebody who's coordinating the cat foster program, doesn't that seem overwhelming?
It is overwhelming at times. I have another coordinator that helps me on the days that I'm not there. And then we have a great team of volunteers, cat volunteers at the shelter, and amazing cat foster volunteers as well that help us take care of these little guys. Once they reach the 2 pounds, which also equals about 2 months of age, then they can get spayed or neutered and go for adoption. So we have kittens that come in all the way from newborns, all the way up to maybe they just need 1 or 2 weeks just to gain a little bit of weight to get up to be the size that they need to go for adoption. So, and everything in between.
So when these newborn kittens come into play, obviously that probably takes a little bit more attention from a foster.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So a lot of times people will find kittens, maybe without a mom most of the time, and they bring them to the shelter. Then that comes to my job to find them a foster to take care of them. So kittens that are newborns, they need to be bottle raised, especially if they don't have a mom. That can take, it's just like a newborn human baby. They eat every 2 hours. There's a lot of other special needs. You have to help them go to the bathroom. You have to keep them warm since they can't keep their own temperature the same. You have to wash them. You have to be very careful because their immune systems are so fragile. It takes a lot of time and effort, but if it's done successfully and they're so fragile at that age, then they can grow up and look like this, where they're going to be ready for adoption here anytime.
They're so cute. They are so cute. So bottle feeding.
Yeah.
Every 2 hours?
Every 2 hours, around the clock, so you have to wake up in the middle of the night. I've done it myself many, many times.
Do you guys give training on that? I mean, I would have no idea how to bottle feed a kitten.
Right. Most people that want to bottle feed have prior experience. There are several fosters that we have trained to this is how you do it. And unfortunately, there's no really class we can teach. It's kind of like, these are the basics. You have to kind of figure it out as you go. It's a lot of work, but it can be very rewarding as well.
Look at how cute they are. So Lori, on the puppy aspect, do we have a real puppy season? I mean, is there?
No.
It just happens every now and all the time,
puppies
right?
all year round.
So is there a correlation between, I mean, we probably don't have to, do we have to bottle feed the puppies ever?
If there's no mom, yes.
Does that happen a lot?
Not a lot, but it does happen.
So they're so cute.
Going.
So how long till kitty season now?
We'll see. This is almost the end of January. It'll probably start the end of February, beginning of March.
Wow.
So I'm gearing up by making sure we have all the supplies, making sure our fosters are ready, so we can start doing this all over again.
That's phenomenal. Jamie, can you come and get the cute kitties real quick? Thanks. They're adorable.
Love you.
Yes, they are.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
So one of the things that a lot of people might be curious about is, the requirements to be a foster. Laura, you said they just need to have a loving home, which I think is ultimately what we really want, is just for these animals to be loved. Because you're right, take them out of that shelter environment and they come to life. I'm a failed foster, I'm the first to admit it. I fostered a cute little terrier mix, and he's definitely home now. And I think a lot of fosters can be failures, and that's a good thing on that aspect of it. But how do you guys recruit them? I mean, is there a way that you guys actually recruit for fosters? I mean, is there like foster classes or training prior to? I mean, just tell us maybe a little bit about the behind the scenes of the foster program that we don't know.
A lot of times we'll put a Facebook play out. We use social media a lot, which has helped us a lot with getting foster parents saying, we have a need and this is why we have a need. We do have, I know for the cats, I have a foster orientation class, so just to get you oriented with the shelter and the program, what's expected of you. I have a handbook. I know the dogs have a foster handbook as well that just goes through, again, what's expected, resources and tools you'll need for the entirety of fostering the animal. So we also have some flyers that are going to be going out about the foster program. A lot of times it's word of mouth. I've gotten a lot of foster homes through other foster parents going, hey, they have a friend that comes over. Oh, where do these kittens come from? Where do these puppies come from? Well, fostering them. And then they hear about it and they bring them to Lori or I, and we get them set up with their own set of puppies or kittens or whatever we need.
That's great. That's great. So we often hear about offsite adoption events, and we have a phenomenal Facebook page, obviously, and then sacpetsearch.com. all the pictures of all the animals available for adoption. And a lot of times you'll look at them and they'll say, currently not at the shelter, in foster, right? So for those people that are falling in love with the dogs or the cats or the kittens, and they're not at the shelter, how does that transpire? How do you actually get to meet those animals?
Well, there's a couple of ways.
Okay.
There's through our website. On the website, when the animal is ready for adoption, I'll have the foster send me a cute photo and a short little bio about the dog's personality, if it's potty trained, good with kids, good with cats, if they have that information. And at the end, I will put that the dog is in foster and usually put my email address. If someone is interested, they will contact me, and I will forward the email to the foster care provider so that they can contact the person who's interested directly.
Okay. So that's, you're kind of doing a off-site meet and greet, right, basically?
They can, or we have off-site adoption events almost every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a great resource there. There's tons of volunteers and a lot of staff or volunteers to help out with that.
So obviously we want people still to come to the shelter to adopt, obviously, but is there a real big difference when you're meeting, let's just say, a foster dog at an off-site out of that shelter environment? I mean, I know that the shelter environment is really stressful, but do you see a higher success rate maybe with some of the off-site adoptions of foster animals?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's a lot better to adopt out a dog from foster because that foster parent has been with that dog every single day. They know what the dog likes, what it doesn't like, what kind of a training it needs, what it still needs work on,
Right.
what it's really great at. And the public really likes that interaction, and they like to know all about the dog that they might be interested in. They want to know if, well, do I need to potty train this dog? Do I need to work with it on a leash? What all do I need to do to help this adoption be successful? When they're at a shelter, we really don't get to get that information
Right.
from the dog because we don't have that opportunity to spend in a home environment. So we're kind of just winging it. We get like 15 minutes worth of a behavior evaluation to kind of gauge their personality and then hope for the best.
Wow. How about the cats? Same thing?
Yeah, we have off-site events all the time. We also have cats that are housed at Petco. We have 2 locations. And Petsugo in Elk Grove, we have also 2 locations there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they do a lot of good work. We oftentimes send some of those cats that are just a little bit shy off to those locations because they get a lot more socialization there and they really come out of their shells. We have a great group of volunteers that helps us clean and feed and meet with potential adopters there. We have a great coordinator that helps us with other off-site events. And
Would you like just in a crazy cat show or something?
yeah, we did. We have a cat show in January. We have one in August. So we take 12 cats to actually compete in the cat show.
Yeah.
And then this last time we had 28 adoptable cats and all of them got homes at the cat show.
All of them?
So all of them. And some of them actually go to homes where they're going to continue being show cats. So there's actually a group of people that when we're there, they come, we're like, we want our next show cat. This is where we want to get it from. So I think that's pretty special.
It is very special.
That is special. I didn't know that all 28 had a
Yeah,
cat. That's,
all
that's
28.
incredible. And I think you're talking about Joyce, aren't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
Joyce, she's amazing.
Yeah. She's going to be on a future episode, so that's great. That's absolutely great. So if you guys had to actually talk to the general public about the foster program at Front Street, in your own words, what would you guys say?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's rewarding. Maybe you don't want to adopt another animal, but you can still help by having that animal in your home for a short amount of time and helping it find a home. So I think it's rewarding. You know, I foster myself, and it's great when they're there, but then it's even more special to see them walking out the door with their new home.
That's great.
Their new family.
That's great. So if people are interested in becoming a foster, how do they get in touch with you guys?
We have a website, frontstreetfosters.weebly.com.
Okay.
They can sign up there.
Then
Yep.
could they reach you by SAC Pet Search as well?
No, not through
Not
that.
No.
really? Okay.
No.
Okay, that's good. Frontstreet.weebly.
Fosters.weebly.
Yeah.
Frontstreetfosters.weebly. If you're interested in becoming a foster parent for either a dog, cat, puppy, or kitten, that would be great. So, in the last couple of minutes, I just want to say thanks. I know that the foster program has really blossomed at Front Street, and personally, I think it's an unsung hero. I think there's a lot of unsung heroes and unsung hero programs at Front Street, and the reason we really wanted to bring you guys on is to basically put a spotlight on something that needs attention and deserves the recognition that you guys do. I know it's a team effort, and there's a lot of people involved in helping it, but having true, strong coordinators like yourself, Samantha, and you, Lori, I think really kind of catapults it to that next level. We all have a high regard for you guys. I know the expectations at Front Street are extremely high, thanks to Gina.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool when all the programs rise to that expectation. Yeah. I really, really do. So, FYI, if you guys are interested in learning more about the foster program, you can always contact us at Front Street. You can find a link to contact us at sacpetsearch.com. Make sure you like us on Facebook. You will always see cute photos of fosters, and there'll actually be pleas out there if there's a dog that might need a foster. So make sure you take a look at that, because that's vital information that we share with you on our Facebook page. So the Facebook page is Front Street Animal Shelter, City of Sacramento. Like us, no reason not to. I would like to thank you guys for coming tonight. Yeah. It was a good interview. Hopefully we can come back. Maybe we can do something else with fosters down the road so that we can highlight it. I would love to see the neonatal aspect of it.
Definitely.
I mean, maybe we can just get some footage of that down the line. I would like to take a little moment here and say thank you to, obviously, my guests. I would also like to thank all the wonderful volunteers at Front Street, our animal handlers tonight, Caitlin and Jamie as well. Remember, like us on Facebook, visit us at sacpetsearch.com, or better yet, come down and visit us at 2127 Front Street. I'd also like to thank the great volunteers here at Access Sacramento tonight. Without, we could not be doing this phenomenal production. So until next time on Shelter Life, my name is Don Hinkle, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hello, I'm Gina Knapp, and I manage the Front Street Animal Shelter for the City of Sacramento. Our staff and volunteers are incredibly proud of the work we do for the lost, stray, abandoned, neglected, and surrendered animals that come into our care. And we've made great strides on Front Street, but we also realize that there is still more work to be done. With the help and support of people just like you, we know we will ultimately achieve our goal, which is saving more lives.